In 1 hour, the Cardinal Alphas were facing off against their own parents in the big match, and pretty much every girl on campus was getting lammed up for it. But for Nancy and Violet, this was a rare window to talk. Waiting until after the match was a no-go. There was no telling if they'd get a moment alone once the post-game parties kicked off. Violet led her mother to her room, finally repaired thanks to Alice, while the other girls hung back to keep Alpha Everett company. She told herself she was ready for this, but as Violet and Nancy sat down, an awkward silence stretched between them. I'm sorry. They both started at once. I'll go first, Nancy said, jumping in. No, let me. Violet shook her head. I need to apologize, Nancy. I'm sorry about last time for being so mad at you, and you had every right to be angry, Violet. Nancy cut in, her voice surprisingly gentle. I should have called first, but, well, Everett and I got a little carried away with the mating fever. She trailed off, a faint blush creeping up her cheeks. Violet blinked. Nancy? Mating fever? It felt like she'd stumbled into an alternate universe. Her curiosity won. Tilting her head, she asked, a little pointedly. Mating fever, huh? Yes, mating fever. Nancy confirmed, a smug little smile playing on her lips. Violet leaned in, wiggling her eyebrows. You know, they covered that in one of my classes this semester, so what's it really like? Just an insane urge to hook up, or... Oh, it's more than that, Nancy said, leaning in too, happy to indulge her without a shred of shame. Honestly, they should have called it a sex frenzy. Can you believe Everett and I went at it for 2 days straight? No food, barely any sleep, just short breaks. Nancy licked her lips, a faraway look in her eyes. I swear there wasn't a single position that man didn't try. Best feeling ever, she sighed, lost in the memory. Violet processed that. She'd only asked for a little detail, but Nancy, true to form, had delivered a full-blown graphic highlight reel that was now permanently seared into her brain. Feeling a little mischievous, Violet said with a wicked grin. I also remember my professor saying that for mated pairs, conception is almost guaranteed during the mating fever. She watched Nancy's face, waiting for the panic. If there was one thing Nancy had always dreaded, it was pregnancy. She'd always said Violet was the only pest she'd ever willingly put up with and couldn't imagine more little life suckers draining her youth away. Motherhood was just not her vibe. But then Nancy shocked her. I don't mind. What? Violet practically shouted, her jaw dropping. Nancy looked a little nervous but pushed on. Everett wants more kids. More kids? Violet repeated, her eyes wide. He has a son from his first wife who passed away. The boy's been so lonely, and giving him a sibling just feels right. His name's Graham. He's a sweet kid. Trust me, you'll love him when you visit for the holidays. For a long moment, Violet just stared, utterly speechless. Violet? Nancy's smile wavered, a flash of concern in her eyes. She waved a hand in front of her daughter's face. You okay? Violet blinked, her voice a low whisper. Who are you, and what have you done with my mother? Realization dawned, and Nancy burst out laughing, giving Violet a playful shove. Oh my God, stop, you're ridiculous! She laughed so hard that Violet couldn't help but join in, the sound filling the room in a rare, easy moment between them. As their laughter faded, a quiet seriousness settled over them. Nancy twisted her hands in her lap, guilt clouding her face. I was a terrible mother to you, Violet, she said softly. You did your best, Violet replied honestly. I could have done better. You took me in when no one else would. You gave me a roof over my head, food, everything I needed. She shrugged. That has to count for something. Nancy's eyes fell to the floor. I still should have done more. Then do better for your next kid, but only if you really want one. She met Nancy's eyes, her tone firm. I don't care if Everett is an alpha or your mate. You have this baby because you want to, not because you feel like it's your duty. I do want this, Violet, Nancy said, her voice filled with a conviction Violet had never heard before. I've been thinking a lot lately, and I realize my life, it hasn't really meant anything. A good man like Everett giving me a second chance after the life I've lived, that has to mean something, right? I want to know what it feels like to be a mother. I can't run from it forever, so yes, I want this child. Then have it, Violet said simply. It's not too late for me to be a big sister. A huge, brilliant smile spread across Nancy's face. Thank you, Violet. Thank you, Nancy, Violet replied, offering a small smile of her own. Nancy couldn't help herself. She pulled Violet into a tight hug, sniffling as her eyes welled up. I'm so sorry for all the time we missed. I told you it's okay. Please don't cry. Violet patted her back awkwardly. If you start, I'll start, and then we'll just have a mess. Nancy snorted out a laugh, pulling away to wipe her eyes. Right. No crying. No bad vibes. It was clear that old Nancy was back when the very next words out of her mouth were, So, 4 boyfriends, huh? Violet rolled her eyes. It sort of happened. Nancy arched a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. Violet Purple, she said, drawing out her full name for effect. 4 cardinal alphas don't just sort of happen. And to think I was worried you'd die a virgin. She let out an exasperated huff. Wait a minute. Have you guys done it? Oh my God! She gasped dramatically, her eyes going wide. Violet Purple, did you have an orgy? God help me, Violet thought. I cannot have this conversation. Nancy clutched her chest, looking scandalized. Dear Lord, and to think this is all my fault. I taught her everything I knew, and she went and took it 100 steps further. Then another thought seemed to strike her. Please tell me you're on the pill or something, Violet Purple. I cannot be a mother and a grandmother at the same time. What would my kid even call your kid? A niece, nephew, cousin? A bruh-sin? A bruh-sin? Oh my God, Nancy, you are being so dramatic. I haven't even had sex yet. She yelled back, her face on fire. Nancy blinked. Wait, what? Why not? Her expression shifted from scandalized to genuinely curious. What's wrong? Are the boys not capable, or... She leaned in with a wicked grin. Are they too big for you? Can't get it in? Don't worry, it can happen a lot at first, but you get used to it. There's always lube. Oh wait, should we find a witch to do a little size reduction spell? Everett told me that's a thing. Nancy looked genuinely excited as she started brainstorming solutions. That was it. Violet was done. Mom! She snapped, jumping up from the bed. I think it's time for you to go. What? Fine. Nancy got to her feet, smirking. We'll finish this conversation later. Not if I can help it, Violet thought darkly, already dreading the wild, terrifying images her mother had just planted in her head. Nancy dabbed at her face and sighed. But I can't leave like this. Everett will freak out if he sees I've been crying. Where's your bathroom? Over there. Violet pointed stiffly. Thank you, daughter. Nancy sing-songed, clearly savoring Violet's misery as she sashayed into the bathroom. Violet collapsed onto her bed with a long, exhausted groan. She buried her face in her mattress, feeling completely drained. But after a moment, a small smile touched her lips. If Nancy was happy, then she could live with that. She was just starting to relax when she heard a faint hissing sound. Violet's eyes snapped open, her head shot up, and her stomach plummeted. Oh no. There, slithering in through his usual hole in the corner of her room, was Roman in his favorite snake form. Roman, no! Violet hissed, scrambling off the bed. Go back, go back! She rushed toward him, waving her arms frantically, but it was too late. Violet! Nancy's voice called from the bathroom, getting closer. Why is your bathroom so... She stepped into the room and froze mid-sentence, her eyes going wide. Snake! Before Violet could say a word, Nancy let out a war cry. Not on my watch, Satan! And snatched up her slipper with lightning speed. No, wait! Violet cried, reaching out helplessly. But Nancy was already on the attack, charging Roman, who hissed in panic and shot across the floor, desperately trying to evade her furious swings. Get back here, you little devil! Nancy shrieked, aiming deadly blows as Roman slithered for his life. With no other choice, Roman bolted for the corner and transformed mid-slither. In a flash of movement, he was human again, stark naked, flushed, and covered in red slipper marks. Nancy froze mid-swing, her slipper raised. She stared at the half-naked man, now crouched in the corner, his chest heaving. What the heck? Nancy screamed, stumbling back and clutching her chest. Nancy, wait! Violet cried, rushing forward. Calm down, it's okay. This is Roman, he's my, third boyfriend. Nancy just stared, her expression blank, her brain visibly short-circuiting. What the heck, Violet? She finally choked out, her wild eyes darting between her daughter and the naked man in the corner. And with that, Nancy's eyes rolled back into her head, and she fainted. Thankfully, Roman was fast enough to catch her before she hit the floor. Still breathless and looking utterly wrecked, he looked down at his unconscious mother-in-law in his arms. Nice to meet you, I guess. Violet slapped a hand to her forehead and groaned. Oh, for heaven's sake.